Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesota accents.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have accents today.
Oh, golly. My name is Amanda.
I'm Lucy.
And this week we have a very, very special fan pick that is really fun to say. It comes to us from Jess Rabe. Thank you so much, Jess Rabe. You are
a babe.
A total babe. It is amazing what you've chosen today. Sorry, I hit my pen hard before the curtain came up. They have chosen the topic of Kalamazoo Crimes.
Kalamazoo, Upper Midwest.
Kalamazoo. Yep. Put them together, what have you got?
Oh my God, speaking of Disney movies and also being high.
No. What? What did you do?
There was one day last week where I alternated between two total earworms. I could not get these songs out of my head. Alternated between In the Arms of the Angels.
Oh, heartfelt banger.
Yeah. And the first part of the Hi-Ho song from Snow White.
From Snow fucking White?
Yes.
I hate Snow White.
But the first part where they're like, in the mines, in the million diamond mines. No.
You just had that
It's like this
stuck in your head?
It's this creepy like prelude to Hi-Ho.
I watched that shit like once when I was a kid, like a little kid, and then never requested it again. I remember having like a visceral hate reaction to the sound of her voice.
Snow White's?
Yes. And
yeah.
Listen.
It's too high.
Call me a misogynist. Y'all know I famously hate women. And she is no different. Bye-bye, bitch. Your voice is annoying and I hate you.
Okay, there is a really funny part at the beginning though when like the prince is watching her when she's in the garden and there's like a wishing well.
Okay, the Prince Peeping Tom.
Yes.
Great.
So this movie came out in like the 50s or whatever, like forever ago. So she's singing with her birds in the garden and she's singing to her own reflection. And then the prince, he pops out of fucking nowhere and you just see his reflection and he's singing her song in this like gross bravado, like, but he just comes out of fucking nowhere.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull it up on Disney Plus.
This is why we choose the bear.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up on Disney Plus and just send you a little video clip of just that part.
I'm good.
It caught me so off guard. I was watching it with June the other day and it was like,
I was a sleeping beauty bitch. I was like, you know what, girl? Yes, I also need a nap for like a while.
A nap
Bye-bye.
with not a defined end.
And my favorite is like, and now this sound has gone viral on TikTok recently. There's a clip, I'm 99% sure it's from Sleeping Beauty, where the prince is like, well, when will I see you again? And she goes, never. Oh, never. And I'm like, you know what, girl? Yeah. Never meet a man.
Never.
Never. Oh, never.
Also, not one that kisses you without your consent while you're unconscious in the forest.
Get out.
That's actually sort of linked to my case for today. So.
Oh, great. Kalamazoo. Bippity boppity boo.
Yep. Unconsensual contact in the woods.
So yeah, Jess Rabe also made a recommendation for our wine segment today. They wanted to shout out St. Julian Winery.
Oh.
And this is a Michigan winery. I'm going to read you a little info about them and send you to their website where you can order their wines online. I will say, if you have a palate that prefers wines on the sweeter side, this is going to be heaven for you, bitch. Like, this is going to be absolute Garden of Eden
Sweet Central.
Fruit ripe for the picking. But they also do have some really lovely drier options in both white and red. But they work with like, they're selling sangrias. There's a blood orange sangria that I super want to try. And then these like fruit wines, Herb Herblinger's fruit wine. So they have black cherry punch, blackberry punch, blueberry muffin. Like they use a ton of fruit in their winemaking. It just looks like an absolute party, and their labels are stinking cute. I just couldn't help it. So yeah, St. Julian Winery and Distillery. They were.
Oh, these are beautiful.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very colorful.
So they have been owned and operated by the same family for 4 generations. They have a dedication to supporting local farms, and the production of quality wine and juice has been upheld for over 100 years. This long-term commitment to quality fruit has made us the most awarded winery in Michigan. St. Julian's portfolio of award-winning wines has over 100 products. They seriously, their website is like,
oh my God, I'm
stocked.
scrolling forever.
Yeah, they have so much fun stuff. So over 100 products that totally tracks. That include distilled spirits, ciders, and every type of wine from internationally recognized dry wines to award-winning sweet wines, classic dessert wines, and wines using innovative winemaking techniques.
They got iced wine.
They sure do. Not only is St. Julian Michigan's longest-running winery, but we are also Michigan's first craft distillery producing some of the finest spirits, many of which are made from grapes. Wow. Our line of spirits includes vodka, rum, brandy, and more. They're fucking killing it. They make a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, they really do. Also, if you're like looking for a specific like wine to give as like an inside joke to someone, they all have like
cute little names.
There's one called Social Butterfly, Strawberry Fields, Sweet Nancy, Sweet Revenge.
Oh, love her. Mm-hmm. So yeah, these folks are located at 716 South Kalamazoo Street in Paw Paw, Michigan. And their website is stjulian.com. It's stjulian.com. And it looks like you can order wine that can be shipped to you as long as your state obviously allows for receiving alcohol. Some states don't. But yeah, please check out stjulian.com because they really do have such a fun variety of things. There's a dry Riesling that they had listed that I really want to try because you know I love a dry Riesling.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Like, come on, so good. So yeah, I'm going to be sipping water myself today, but don't worry, I am supplementing with herbal remedies. And Lucy, do you have anything fun that you're sipping on your side of the world?
Just my ice water and my sleeve of Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies.
Oh my God, you're living the dream.
I'm having a great day.
I love that for you.
Yes.
Well, let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors and so that you can sneak a cookie in your mouth before we get to your segment.
Oh, you have my back.
I do. Millions of Americans grind or clench their teeth at night, and most don't even know they're doing it. So if you have jaw pain or headaches after a night's sleep, there is a high chance that you grind or clench your teeth, babe. Teeth grinding, also known as bruxism or TMJ, is generally caused by stress, which we have in abundance, and it can cause serious damage such as eroding away your enamel and broken teeth. And then, you wind up with all these expensive dental bills. Don't do that.
Broken teeth?
It's terrifying. Nightmare fuel.
Last week I went down a little bit of a TMJ rabbit hole, like lockjaw. That's not great.
You don't want to mess with it.
I'm thinking about my jaw. I'm thinking about how often I'm clenching my teeth, which is very frequently. If I'm doing it during the day while I'm awake, of course I'm doing it at night during my sleep.
Yeah.
So there is a way to protect your teeth while you're sleeping, and that is a mouth guard. But unfortunately, mouth guards from the dentist can cost you like up to $800.
Ick.
And that's why Remy exists. Remy makes dental-grade professional quality mouth guards without the painful price tag. They're up to 80% less expensive than what you'd pay at the dentist, and you don't have to go to the dentist.
Thank God.
So they send you an at-home impression kit to create the molds of your teeth. You just mail those back to Remy, and their dental team makes you a custom-fit guard, or guards, multiple, and sends them right back to you. These are unbelievably comfortable. They're so thin, like I can't even really tell that I'm wearing them at night.
Love.
They also offer a 45-night satisfaction guarantee, so you can try it risk-free, you can sleep better, and decide if it's the perfect fit, and if not, Remy's got you covered.
Remy is for anyone dealing with nighttime grinding, clenching, or jaw pain who wants an affordable solution to protect their smile and say goodnight to jaw pain and headaches. Head to shopremy.com/gals and use code GALS to save up to 50%. That's 50% off at shopremi.com/gals with code GALS. Give your teeth a break without breaking the bank with Remy. And thank you, Remy, for sponsoring this episode.
Spring is here. Weather's heating up. We're thinking about traveling.
Oh, yeah.
I have plans to go to Greece with Amanda.
Yep.
Our coven members. I am already packing my bags, picking out what I'm going to wear because that is that's a lot of the fun of going on vacation.
Yes.
Wearing like really cute outfits.
Yes.
Vacation season is nearly upon us, and this year I'm treating myself to the luxe upgrades that I, quite frankly, deserve.
You do.
With Quince's high-quality travel essentials at very fair prices.
Listen, summer is all about the lightweight fits. So you can get lightweight European linen styles from $30, washable silk tops, and comfy lounge sets for those long flights, with premium luggage options and stylish tote bags to carry it all. And the best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. It's the best. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which I love. And the nice thing about the lightweight, like European linen, not only is it classic, it's fashionable, it's up to date, it's stylish, you're going to look amazing, but it's lightweight, so you can pack a lot of it in your bag. It's truly like the best part of packing is packing all of my Quince items.
I love my Italian leather laptop backpack.
Yeah, that
so
backpack
cute.
is so gorgeous.
So for your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/wine for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's QUINCE.com/wine to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wine.
Spring is creeping in, y'all, and I'm all about shaking off the winter funk and resetting my routine. And if you're like me, you're craving a little fresh energy and focus as the seasons change. And let me tell you, one of the best changes I've made is swapping out my usual coffee for something way better, and that is mud water. We are definitely a coffee household. My husband is a coffee addict, but I cannot drink it. Like, it upsets my stomach. It gives me the jitters. I'm crashing by 1 p.m. It's not for me. And mud water has truly been a game changer. It's not your average cup of joe. It's a cozy mix of cacao, chai, turmeric, and adaptogenic mushrooms to help you feel focused and balanced and not wired. This stuff is smooth, it's steady, and honestly, it just makes you feel good. It's also ridiculously easy to make. Like, 2 minutes, hot water or milk, you're ready to tackle the day, babe. And I am a huge matcha lover, so I got their matcha starter kit. This is a must try. It's the perfect way to step into clean energy with matcha's calming, focused boost. One sip and you'll feel like you're dancing barefoot in the grass. Seriously, it's that good. Like, I only drink this at this point. So please try it today. Save big. Our listeners get up to 43% off your entire order with free shipping and a free rechargeable frother. That thing is also a game changer. Head to mudwtr.com and use the code GALS at checkout. And now Mudwater is also available at Target and Sprouts locations across the U.S., so it's just never been easier to grab a cup of this pick-me-up.
Yeah, Mudwater is a game changer. Like Amanda mentioned, I can't do coffee either. It just upsets the belly too much. And this stuff, it's one of those things that it's delicious, but also you can tell that it's good for you. Like the taste, it's just like, wow. This has come from Earth. It's good. It's good for the bod. Every single ingredient in Mudwater's products are 100% USDA certified organic. They're non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. But just good for you. There's also zero sugar and no sweeteners added. Amanda mentioned the frother, that free frother.
Oh,
pick it up, babe. Don't miss out on this deal.
You're a barista now.
You really are a barista. They also have caffeine-free blends available. They've got something for everyone. So are you ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal up to 43% off your entire order, plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code GALS. That's right, up to 43% off. Code GALS at mudwtr.com. After you purchase, they'll ask how you found them. Please show your support for our show and let them know we sent you. Keep your energy natural and refreshing all year long with Mud Water, because life is too short for anything less than clean, delicious energy.
Lucy, what is our background? Maybe psych, definitely a case for Kalamazoo Crimes.
There's no psych for this. I do have a flag, though.
Oh, yes.
Don't look yet.
Okay.
It needs explanation.
I'm glad you stopped me because I was clicking.
Don't click.
I was clicking over.
Don't you click. Don't you click.
I'm hovering over L pics right now.
No.
Trying not to click. It's not open yet.
Okay, so Kalamazoo is a city in the Maine mitten of Michigan. So if this is your Michigan mitten, she's right here.
Oh, in the palm of the mitten.
Yeah. The southwest of the palm. The Maine mitten.
Yeah. Okay.
It has a population of around 73,000. It's also the name of the county where the city is.
Mm-hmm.
This area was originally called Bronson, the last name of Titus Bronson, which is such a porno name. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Who first laid down his log cabin in the area around 1830.
He first laid log.
He laid pipe in Titus Bronson. Ugh. He named it the Village of Bronson to distinguish it from another Bronson, Michigan, that was located about 50 miles southeast. These people are not creative.
Bitch, we already have one.
Name it Titus. Titusville. That would have been cool.
Don't name it anything. It's probably already named, you thief.
It's true.
You colonizer. Thief.
We'll get to the colonizing.
Always.
Bronson, the man, was described as eccentric and argumentative, which must have been putting it nicely because eventually he stole a cherry tree and got run out of town.
Somebody has definitely described me as eccentric and argumentative.
Yeah.
Tag yourself.
Yep. I was on the phone with my mom the other day and I was showing her my new shirt and she goes, "Don't put that in the dryer." And I was like, "I swear to Christ, I'm going to put that on your tombstone." You say that all the time.
She doesn't put anything in the fucking dryer.
She doesn't. She hang dries almost
everything she owns. It has since I've known her.
Yeah.
Yeah. The basement laundry area is always
our bathroom.
The bathroom always full of those like wooden towel drying racks that fold out, just covered.
She just used the shower curtain rod.
For bras, saw a lot of bras.
Big beige bras.
Huge beige bras. Just flapping in the bathroom.
You gotta take them off so you can take a shower.
Yeah. Felt like being watched.
Mom, your bras.
Mom, Mel, your bras.
Okay.
God love her.
Here we go. Epitaph. Okay. They renamed the village Kalamazoo in 1836 because Bronson was such a shithead. And they were like, "We're not keeping the name Bronson anywhere.
You're done."
Here." This area was once home to people of the Hopewell tradition, which we've talked about before. They were like they had a whole trade route.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you remember that?
No, but sure.
It was indigenous people who like lived along a trade route, and it was like it was really the way that they communicated and traded and traveled around this area was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they migrated into the area sometime before the first millennium. There's even a mound in downtown Bronson Park in Kalamazoo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From that era.
And they've like preserved this, like you can't fuck with it? Or is it like built over?
I'm pretty sure you can't fuck with it. If it was built over, they probably wouldn't be telling anyone that it was a effigy mound.
Fair enough.
People would get mad.
Yeah.
At the time of white people crashing the party, the Potawatomi culture was living in the area. So the word Kalamazoo probably came from a Potawatomi word.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really sure what that word was. It may mean the mirage or reflecting river.
Mm.
It also might have come from their word for boiling water.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mist on the water that's on that river kind of looks like hot steaming water.
Mm-hmm.
But also because there was a tradition of holding foot races from the village to the river and back before a pot of water began to boil.
Damn.
It's like a way of timing themselves. Mm-hmm. You're beating the water. You're beating the boiling pot.
Beat the clock. It's like when we play Beat the Gummy.
What?
If I take this gummy now, I have approximately 20 minutes to either drive to a location that I'm expected at, or like accomplish a task that I am expected to accomplish that day.
Beat the gummy.
Before the gummy kicks in and you're out of commish.
Corey and I used to play, we'd race DoorDash. So like if it was a Friday.
We just talked about this on Sunday.
Did we?
Yeah, because Bill and I called you after we left the Caleb Heron stand-up show. And I was like, yeah, we've ordered, pimento from DoorDash and it's arriving in like 15 minutes and we're like just leaving right now. So we're playing Beat DoorDash or Uber, whatever we ordered from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the
like
best
out
game.
Having a drink, call DoorDash. You're like, okay, we have 8 minutes to get home. We're beating DoorDash.
Yep. Beat the DoorDash.
Okay, so here's some interesting facts for you. The Kalamazoo Mall was the first outdoor pedestrian mall in the United States. It was built in 1959.
Fun.
Wow. Kalamazoo has a higher crime rate than the national average. In 2015, the aggravated assault rate was 793 per 100,000, which was 3.3 times the national average.
Oh, buddy.
Not great. Kalamazoo was a stop on the Underground Railroad.
All right.
There's a home in the town of Schoolcraft, which is in Kalamazoo County, that was built in 1835 by the county's first doctor, Nathan Thomas. Old Nate Thomas. It was a safe house in operation for 20 years and helped anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 enslaved Black Americans who were escaping by giving them food, water, shelter, whatever they needed.
Good work, Kalamazoo.
Mm-hmm. The home still stands today and is open for tours by appointment only.
All right.
So don't just show up.
No. Well, yeah, they probably have to be really, really cautious about historical preservation and not have too much foot traffic going through the house every day. So that's the right call.
Which, for some reason, that reminded me of the Villisca Axe House.
Yeah.
Where all you do is check in at the little front, like, shed office, and then you could just go in the house and do it.
I don't think that has the same historical reverence as, say...
I'm not comparing the two. It just reminded me of the importance, the important places, and not just a house where a tragic murder took place.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is the stuff we really have to preserve.
Yeah, be really fucking careful.
The third oldest women's club in the nation is from Kazoo, as the locals call it.
Oh.
It's called the Ladies Library Association. Yes, please.
Cute.
It was created to promote equal education for women, and it was founded in...
smut.
Yeah.
Equal access to smut.
Yeah, why not? Oh,
yeah.
Why do I keep... Well, I guess I do know why I keep trailing off. I found a stack of Corey's grandpa's... Remember those magazines that are like, pimp killed by claw hammer?
Oh, yeah.
They're from like the 70s, and they're like smutty, quote unquote, detective magazines, but they're definitely like cop porno.
Yes.
So I found a stack of them and I put them in a box. I got to label it Clint's Smut.
Oh, yish.
Oh, Cliff, not Clint. Cliff's Smut. So that felt good.
Cliff's Smut. Gross. Hate it. Next.
Okay, this is going to be maybe your favorite part of my whole segment. Kalamazoo was once the celery capital of the world.
Wait, what? What a weird thing to be the capital of.
Of the world. Their
world.
sales tagline was fresh as dew from Kalamazoo.
Oh, I just feel like celery.
It's not something to be celebrated. You celebrate celery? The hell?
The blandest of vegetables.
I hate celery. I don't like that. There's like a acidic...
The stringiness?
No, it's the flavor.
I like the flavor. I don't love the texture. It has to be like really crisp for me to really enjoy it. But like, I love a celery in soup stock. I love a celery salt. I put celery salt in my mashed potatoes. It is fucking good.
Wow, I've never even thought of that.
It's fucking good.
Ants on a log?
Oh yeah. I'll fuck with an ant on a log. I'll fuck with it. I love celery and peanut butter. But I love peanut butter on fucking everything. So
the celery raisin combination can't be saved with peanut butter to me in my book.
I get it.
It's not worth it.
It's not. Celery's not for everyone.
The good does not outweigh
But it is
the
for
bad.
Kalamazoo. These bitches love celery.
We'll get we're not done with the celery quite yet.
Okay. I thought that was just a fact and we were moving on. All right.
We'll be coming back to the celery. Kalamazoo is home of Bell's Brewing, which hosts an annual Oberon Day. You know that beer?
Yep.
It's one of the only beers I actually like. And I meant to get some for this recording, and I totally forgot. I'm so sorry, Jess. This year, 2024, it's on Monday, March 24th. This is what DiscoverKalamazoo.com has to say about it.
Okay.
Oberon Day is the official annual release day of Bell's Brewery's Sunshine in a Glass and the unofficial first sign of spring in Kalamazoo. Bell's Oberon Day isn't just any other day at Bell's Brewery. It's a day recognized by Michiganders as a state holiday. It was declared a state holiday by Gretchen Whitmer in 2022.
Gretchen Wieners, go off.
I love that bitch. State holiday and celebrated by beer lovers across the nation. So,
is this the one with the pink elephant on the label?
No, it's the weird sun that's like kind of jaunty. The jaunty sun.
Oh, okay.
I know what you're thinking of, though.
Yeah.
So people like go kind of nuts for Oberon Day. They take the day off of work. When I Googled it, there were like hotel package promotions.
No way.
For this
Well,
day.
I mean, this is a very well-known beer, at least in the Midwest. So, like, I totally get it. I mean, the Midwest is full of fucking white boys with beards who are obsessed with homebrewing. I don't know what it is. It's our water. It's literally what's in the water. It's the fucking water. But yeah.
They got plenty of water.
So I totally get why that would be like a very popular
It's just really sweet how like people get so jacked up for it. There's like music and beer and different events all day.
It's cute.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, Kalamazoo has a flag. It is very colorful. It is the winner of a design contest in 1931. It was designed by John Tournman. So you can open it now.
Is this how we're going to get back into the celery?
Don't give it away. So the main field is blue.
Oh my God.
I have to pull it up. I gotta look at it.
Y'all cannot be serious.
I know. It's so okay. So in the middle, there's a big center emblem with a big old K.
Yep.
K.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds kind of passive aggressive.
Yep.
Surrounding that is a shield with 13 stars up top for the colonies.
Okay, so they were at the 13th.
Michigan was not a colony.
Oh right, the original 13 colonies. Oh my God, I thought I got colonies and states mixed up. Guys, I'm fine.
It's okay. Michigan was not a colony.
No. But okay, just imagine, y'all. I know that Lucy says this is a shield because like that is what it is, but it's like they picked their own family crest, and your family crest has those like 4 spots where you could put
quadrants
where you could put designs that represent like significant things within your like family legacy.
We're going to get to all of them.
The 4 that they picked are questionable. 2 of the 4, I have questions and I'm ready to get to them.
Is one of those questions, what the fuck is that?
One of those questions is the bottom left. Just an Orwellian depiction of like pollution. It's so wild. I can't believe what I'm fucking looking at. It's literally it's a silhouette of factories with like a bunch of smokestacks billowing smoke into the air.
But they're purple, so they're not as threatening.
Terrifying. They're like mauve.
Yeah.
They're like,
it's an unoffensive color depicting a very offensive reality.
Okay, I'm going to let you break this down because I'm fucking gagged over this flag.
Okay. The 13 stars on the top. Under the stars, there are 4 emblems, as Amanda described, the 4 quadrants. On the top left, there's a book that represents books or the Bible, probably.
Okay. And they have, it says education, progress, and industry around it. So the book is probably like education.
They forgot the second quadrant, which is the top right, which was celery. Just a literal bunch of celery.
2 secured bundles of celery with lush leaves still intact, sprouting.
Fresh as dew from Kalamazoo.
It looks like broccoli, but Like, if you had shown me that photo and I didn't know the celery context and I'd been like, what is this? I would have been like, I don't know, a tree or like badly drawn broccoli. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to
remember
identify
the broccoli on the Hungary flag?
Yes.
What the fuck is with that?
People can't draw vegetables. Y'all need to take an
Why
art
are we
class.
adding so many green vegetables to our flags? That's my question.
Agriculture is very important to the history of the human race.
But celery's the first one.
Honor it. Honor it, bitch.
That's not agriculture. That's just gardening.
That's just celery.
That's Cub Foods. That's Dole. Okay.
Yeah. That's an always overstocked and underpurchased section of the produce area.
Yeah.
Celery.
So on the bottom left, like I said, is some air pollution coming out of a factory. But again, it's stylized and it's purple, so calm down. That represents industry. And on the bottom right, what do you see? What do you think that is?
I see a quill in a jar of ink and a book that maybe they're going to sign, but the book also looks like a leaf might be growing out of it. A gold leaf.
Okay, I didn't see that at all. It is, in fact, a quill and a journal representing documentation of real and perceived slights, not really education.
What did you see? Because this feels like one of those tests that's like, if you see this, you're left-brained. And if you see this, you have, like, autism or whatever. Like, you see those ads all the time that are like, we could tell your brain trauma, and also if you have ADHD, and also
tell you what you dream about.
Yeah. By answering this quiz about what you see in these pictures. And yes, I have clicked them.
I'm pretty sure no one else is going to see what I first saw. It really looks like a sardine whipping off its tie after, like, escaping the tin. The white sardine.
I see it looks like having kind of a little mouth and then a little tiny eye.
Yeah.
And then you're saying the ink jar looks like the tie. Or no, the gold behind him looks like his tie.
The yellow, the gold behind it.
Yeah, okay.
The sardine just has large shoes on. That's the inkwell. The sardine's got big old honking shoes on.
What are those designer boots, the red boot that looks like a cartoon foot?
I saw them in real life one time.
Where?
Downtown Minneapolis.
Shut up. So you thought for a second that the lower right quadrant
I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Kalamazoo flag.
I didn't know what it was.
Was a sardine in the, like, Givenchy boots or whatever the fuck those things are, whipping off his tie in front of what? Like a bed?
The tin. The sardine tin.
In front of the sardine tin.
Or maybe he's coming home from a long day of work, taking off his tie, getting ready to go to bed.
Sure.
There we go.
You know what? I do see it now. That I do see it quite clearly.
That's what it looks like to me.
I feel like the dress just turned white and gold in front of my very eyes when I had only seen it as blue and black.
What was the other one?
Laurel?
Yeah.
And Yanny?
Yeah. Yanny.
Yeah, I've heard both.
What's the other? Yanny and what?
Laurel.
Mm-hmm. I just
weird.
can't care. I have too many things I have to care about. That's not one of them.
I just can't care. I'm sorry.
It's not a matter of whether I want to care or don't want to care. I can't.
Next time I call in to a recording day, that's going to be my new reason. I can't record today. I can't care. I can't care.
I've been feeling completely unable to care about many things lately.
We're not okay right
We're not
now.
well. I don't know what it is about this and we should be, because we just had daylight saving time. It's 60 degrees here today. There's no reason. I've got Girl Scout cookies.
Yep. I mean, what do you mean there's no reason? There's abundant reasons why the world is not okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a lot.
And I can't care.
It's a lot. And I can't fucking care.
I can't care.
I mean, not about everything. I gotta only care about what I care about, which is already a lot.
I've reached my threshold.
Yeah.
Laurel and Yanny, you're out.
You're not making the cut, girl.
You're not.
You did make the cut.
Speaking to you like you're two things. You're not two things.
Get over it. You're not two things. Okay? You're never gonna fucking be two things. You need to shut the fuck up, Laurel, Yanny.
You're not special. You're not two.
We can't care about you.
Oh
anyway,
my God. Okay.
Fine. What are we talking about?
Back to the flag. I got a couple more things about the flag. There's a ring around the shield that says education, industry, and progress. They forgot celery. Framing the ring are some oak leaves with little acorns. Mm-hmm. Looks like a centerpiece.
Yep.
And below all of that is a little party ribbon that says City of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
They
didn't want to spell out Michigan.
It's got an eagle at the top, too.
With bad posture.
Spread eagle.
No neck. It's not proud. Yeah, it's slumping.
The head is coming out of the center of the body.
Yeah.
Y'all, your flag is busted. You need this, please.
I want to see the other entries in this flag contest, honestly.
Yeah, when did this get approved?
1931.
Ugh. God. My God. Well, viva the sardine.
Yeah. Sardine's really stealing the show. If the sardine outweighs the celery bunches.
Honestly, the pollution was what had me as the winner originally. Then it moved to... The celery was never really in the top tier. I did laugh at the celery, but I had come to expect it. The sardine has now, I think, taken the top spot. Because I see it.
I feel seen that you see it.
I see it.
Well, I'm glad we got our gigs out because I got a really dark case for us.
Oh my God, mine is fucking terrible too. What is with Kalamazoo?
I don't know. Kalamazoo, you're fucked up. Okay. I was kind of shocked that we hadn't already covered these dudes before. Mm-hmm. And if we have, then I need to adjust my Google Drive searching, but I don't think we have.
Okay.
Okay, so today I'll be telling you about Larry and Danny Rains. Okay. These are their brothers. These are the only known sibling serial killers that operated completely independently from one another.
Oh, so they both turned out to be serial killers, but they weren't killing together?
Correct.
Weird. Mm-hmm. Ew, what the fuck?
And I can't tell which one of them is more fucked up, because one of them's like kind of nuts. Like really kind of crazy. And the other one is just evil.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You're not going to forget. Okay, have you seen the movie He Went That Way with Jacob Elordi and the chimpanzee?
Yes, so I have.
That movie was based on a novel that was based on these two. Well, one of them.
I feel like I have talked about that movie.
Was it a drunk dive?
But that's not showing up either. What was the movie called? He Went That Way?
He Went That Way.
Because I know we've discussed this.
I know we've talked about the movie, but I don't.
Suburbia, maybe?
No, because they were in like Nevada.
All right. Well, maybe we just talked about the movie.
Yeah.
You know what? It was a drunk dive. I was talking about a chimp, and it was that chimp. It was like about a famous chimp. Oh yeah,
Spanky.
Yeah, and there was a crime that happened where like Spanky and his owner got like abducted or something.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, so this is different. Was that a drunk dive? But we've talked about the chimp in this case.
Yeah. So your drunk dive was about the chimp. Mm-hmm. The owner of the chimp.
Yeah.
Is the only known survivor of one of these brothers. So that's how those are correlated.
Oh my God.
Okay. So also there's only one book about. There's not a lot. There's like a really odd, not a lot of information about these two. So
okay.
I'm doing my best, but don't email me if something's not totally accurate.
No.
Okay, so these two, Larry and Danny, were brothers born in Kalamazoo. Go figure. They were middle children. They had a younger sister and youngest sister, oldest sister. So they were in the middle. Danny Arthur Rains was born on October 20th, 1943, a Libra. Larry Lee Rains was born on March 22nd, 1945, an Aries. So they're like a year and a half apart. These two kids did not get along very well, and they were very competitive with each other. Mm-hmm. One source said that it could be something as small as a handful of change that would get them into like a physical fight.
Oh, God.
In a prison interview, Larry said, quote, "I used to hit Danny with boards, throw knives at him, shoot him with bows and arrows and shit like that."
Okay. Just boys being boys.
Bows and arrows.
Yuck.
Their dad would also pressure them to drink alcohol when they were really young.
Great.
And by really young, I mean when their dad eventually abandoned the family and moved to Florida to work at a gas station, the boys were not 9 years old and 11 years old.
Yeah, so he was doing this from the time they were probably like 4 or 5.
Really young. We will be getting back to the gas station thing. Mm-hmm. Their dad was a violently abusive alcoholic, as if that wasn't clear. So I'm going to tell you about these brothers separately because, again, they operated completely separately.
Yeah.
So starting with Larry, the oldest one, when he was 13 years old in 1958, Larry met Sue. Sue was a full-ass adult with 3 children. Mm-hmm. Larry's 13. He began to spend a lot of time with Sue. He helped her raise her kids and began an intimate relationship with her.
I don't like this.
In 1962, when he was 17, he stole a car with a friend and definitely got caught. Mm-hmm. The DA offered to nullify the sentence if Larry enlisted in the military, which he did. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't good at being in the military.
Okay.
One source said he was discharged for alcoholism. Another simply said that he was in a stockade. But in 1963, Larry attacked a colleague, a fellow military person, and thus ended his military career. And he was discharged after this incident.
Okay.
It was noted that Larry had developed an obsession with married women around this time. Obviously, older married women. He was like really into that.
Well, yeah, it sounds like there might have been some grooming, if not at least very inappropriate relationship between him and this Sue woman, who was much older than him. And it doesn't say explicitly when the intimate part of their relationship started, but like it almost doesn't matter.
He went into the military when he was 17.
Yeah,
so it doesn't
between
matter.
the time he was 13 and 17, he was completely underage the whole fucking time. That's nasty. Girl, what are you fucking doing?
He asked her repeatedly to marry him, and she rebuffed him every time. And he developed suicidal ideation that did end up including an attempt to use exhaust fumes from a 1958 Plymouth Plaza.
Oh, Jesus.
He was rescued by a police officer and spent over a week at the Kalamazoo Regional Hospital to treat his depression.
Yeah, he was abused. This woman abused him.
His dad abused him. His brother abused him. Yeah. They abused each other. So after that, he's unmoored. He doesn't have anywhere to be or anything to do. So he starts to wander. He spends 3 months hitchhiking across Ohio, Kentucky, and then eventually over to Nevada. Mm-hmm. So for a 19-year-old, at this point, he's lived a very rich life.
Yeah, he's done a lot of shit. Mm-hmm.
So by May 30th, 1964, again, he's 19 years old. He's back in Kalamazoo. He was out hitchhiking, because that's just what he's been doing, and was picked up by a man named Gary Smock, who was a school teacher just passing through town. Smock was leaving an appointment in Battle Creek with their Chamber of Commerce to find a spot for a church youth convention.
Okay.
At some point during their time together, according to Larry said this later on, he made Smock drive down a country road and robbed him of the $3 that he had on him.
Oh, Lord.
He then shoved Smock into the trunk and told him to be quiet, and then he locked the trunk. Smock was not quiet. He starts banging around. He's trying to get out of the trunk, and this very much annoyed Larry. So Larry pulled over. He opened the trunk. He tied him up, and he shot him in the head. Mm-hmm. And when they found his body, he was shot behind the ear. One of his wrists was tied, and his shoes and his watch and his wallet were missing. Mm. It's not clear to me. I think he leaves the body in the trunk, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Either way, this whole ordeal left Larry feeling famished, so he goes to get a hamburger, and then he drives to Indiana.
Okay.
While in the Hoosier state, Larry waited till early in the morning, goes to a gas station, and shoots the gas station attendant for some quick cash before heading back to Kalamazoo. So he has now killed 2 people. The gas station attendant was discovered quickly. Police were notified, and they put up roadblocks like right away. They were very responsive about it. Larry was actually stopped at one of these roadblocks, but he just acted very casual, and they waved him through. And if he did still have Smock's body in the trunk, that's real fucked up.
This is like some Coen Brothers movie shit. And yeah, in my drunk dive, I did a drunk dive on Spanky the Chimp, who we'll get to. It was, I think, drunk dive number 68. I focused only on that one case. And it was revealed that, like, oh my God, he had escaped a serial killer. I didn't know anything about the brother, and I did not go into the, like, specific details of what Larry had done before he kidnapped Spanky and his owner. So this is, like, way more than I ever fucking saw in that article I read.
And we are just getting our toes wet.
Damn.
We got a ways to go.
Okay,
so he went through the police block, whatever.
He gets through unnoticed, basically.
He heads back to the original point near Kalamazoo where Smock picked him up, and he abandons the car there. He is on record saying that he saw that there was blood on the bumper, but he didn't want to stick around to clean it up. He, quote, simply didn't care.
I can't care.
He could not care. The following Thursday, June 4th, Larry is at his friend's house. His friend's name is Arthur Booth. He confesses to Arthur that he had killed some people and that he was going to go see a priest and then kill himself.
Okay.
So Arthur, who is clearly a better person than Larry gave him credit for, calls the cops and tells them this. And Larry is arrested while wearing Mr. Smock's watch and with Mr. Smock's wallet in his pocket.
Boo. Gross.
So they bring him in. Larry quickly admits to killing both men, the gas station attendant and Gary Smock, and hands over the .22 caliber gun used in the killings.
Okay.
Even before Larry was caught and confessed to this, police had wondered if the person that had killed Smock had also been the killer of a different gas station attendant, a second gas station attendant named Vernon LeBen, who had been working at a gas station near where Smock had been driving. Larry readily admitted to that murder as well. He must have liked the attention that he got when he admitted to these murders because he went on to quickly admit to 2 more, putting his total at 5. So one was in Death Valley on May 23rd. So Death Valley being, I think, in Nevada, because he was hitchhiking around Nevada.
And these are confirmed that he did this? It's not just him making shit up, or, taking responsibility to get the attention?
No, they found bodies.
Damn.
One was in Death Valley on May 23rd, which was just a week before the Smock murder. A man had picked up Larry and just kept talking and talking about how he had no money. So Larry got annoyed and shot him. They didn't find that man's body for 2 years, but they did find it.
Oh my God.
And the other one was yet another gas station attendant in Kentucky.
It's like he's murdering his dad over and over again.
So Larry's arrested. He initially declines a lawyer and a psychiatric evaluation was ordered. He then changed his mind and asked for a public defender, but the evaluation took place before his lawyer could arrive. That is an important detail.
Okay.
The trial begins and he is only charged in the Smock homicide with the other charges pending the results of this trial.
Okay.
The prosecutor had about 24 color slides of Smock's body, but it was reduced to 12 in order to not inflame the jury.
Oh, God. They were like that horrifying to look at.
They were probably really bad. Oof. The courtroom proceedings mainly centered around the question of Larry's sanity. His plea was not guilty by reason of said insanity. Several psychologists testified that he murdered during moments of temporary insanity that occurred because of the rage he had towards his father, who again beat him violently. And in a full circle moment, his father had once also been a gas station attendant, which supported his defense. Also, remember, he ditched the family to move to Florida to work at a gas station.
Yeah. It's triggering for Larry.
And all the victims kind of looked like his dad,
Ugh.
which is really creepy.
Yeah, that's rough.
So he's convicted of murder and handed a life sentence. He appealed it on the grounds that the prosecutor's psychiatrist had begun that examination of him before he was properly represented by counsel. So he did win a new trial in 1971, but when he realized that the insanity plea was not going to hold any water, he just went ahead and pled guilty.
Okay.
So in an interesting turn of events, he was allowed to change his name after his trial. He chose the name Monk Steppenwolf.
Hate that.
Based off the novel Steppenwolf by Hermann Hesse. And it's about a guy who thinks he's like part wolf. It's a weird psychodrama kind of, I don't know, it's weird.
Okay, yeah.
In a prison interview, Monk stated, quote, "There was never a plan. It was a natural thing. It always seemed to me like I was an actor in a play."
Oh, so disconnected from any kind of humanity.
Yeah, wait till you hear this part. He also expressed a somewhat technical interest in what happened to his victims when he shot them.
Yeah.
The blood flew farther than he expected on one case, and another young man, quote, "bounced a couple feet in the air."
Ew. Dude. No.
So he was just fascinated by like the physics of shooting someone.
Yeah, I mean, damn, childhood trauma fucking ruins your brain. And I'm not saying that he is not responsible for his behavior, because he fucking is, and this person is dangerous and cannot ever be among society. But
he's
like,
dead. Don't worry. They're both dead.
No, I know. But in the context of, the time. But like, yeah, it didn't have to fucking be like this.
No. If you can very clearly trace back to why he's so fucked up.
Right.
Okay, so now we get to the other brother.
Oh, God.
Who's arguably worse.
Oh, okay.
Danny was married at the time of his brother's conviction. So Danny operated like later.
Okay, so Larry was not the one who kidnapped the chimp.
Larry was the one.
Oh, okay. And
because he was in Death Valley, Nevada area.
That's right.
Hitchhiking around. And the chimp guy did get away.
Yep, he did. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Got it.
And remember, he killed some gas station attendants in that movie.
Yeah, during. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he was married at the time of his brother's conviction, but he had started showing more dangerous behaviors as of late at this time. So he's arguing with his wife more and more. He is displaying sexual predation behaviors.
Okay.
In November of 1968, he attacked an 18-year-old named Dorothy King. He hijacked her car at gunpoint, and he was on his way driving out to the outskirts of Battle Creek to find somewhere to rape her.
Oh, Jesus.
But fortunately, this asshole took a wrong turn, and she was able to escape with her life.
Thank God.
He was arrested when his car was found right where Dorothy was kidnapped from. So she brought the cops to where she got kidnapped from. They're like, oh, there's this van here. Mm-hmm. So he got caught. He was convicted of felonious assault and sentenced to 3 to 4 years in prison. And go figure, his wife divorced him during this time.
Mm-hmm. Good for her.
I don't think they had any kids. When he was granted parole in 1972, he gets a job at a gas station. This is where he met a 15-year-old named Brent Coster, whose nickname was Stretch due to how tall he was.
Oh, yuck, but also fun.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if Brent also worked at the gas station or if he was just kind of a local kid who hung out there.
Came in all the time buying his snacks and sodas and stuff.
Yeah.
Not sure. How old was he? 15?
He's 15. And
Danny's
a full adult.
Yeah. It could go either way, because in some states, like with permission from your parents, you can work when you're under a certain age.
Yeah, and this is in the 70s. I'm sure he could have very well worked at that gas station, but I'm not sure that he did.
Okay.
Brent had a troubled upbringing with a schizophrenic mother and an alcoholic father. Mm-hmm. Danny gave Brent a place to stay, and it's not a stretch to think that Stretch looked up to Danny as a role model, because he didn't have any of those growing up.
Yeah, poor kid.
Pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
So they lived together. They got to be really good friends. And eventually Danny told Brent about a crime he committed in March. Okay, so he got out of jail on parole in early of 1972.
Okay, so like January 1972.
Let's call it January. I don't know the month. But he committed this crime in March, so it was like very soon after he got out of jail.
Yep.
He told him the details down to where the body was, which they did find. Mm-hmm. But all of this came out at trial.
Okay.
But Danny told Brent that his victim was a woman named Patricia Hawk, aged, I had a 28 and a 29 from 2 different sources.
Okay.
She was either 28 or 29. God, this is so bad. Okay. She was running errands with her 17-month-old son named Corey.
Oh, God.
Danny kidnapped her, raped her, and stabbed her to death and left little Corey to wander around with his mother's blood on him.
Oh.
Until an elderly lady found him the next day.
Holy shit.
Wandering around alone, bloody, and called the police.
And was the child's father still in her life? Was she married?
I don't know anything about Corey's father or Patricia's situation. There's an unfortunate lack of details
that baby
about
wandering around for a whole fucking day. Wouldn't everybody be out looking for him?
There are more details that are so fucking heartbreaking. I'm gonna try to just get through this because
yeah, it's a lot.
He's not much older than June is now, so that's all I can think about.
Mm-hmm.
Hormones. Okay, Patricia's body was eventually found behind the Independent Elevator Company building.
Mm-hmm.
Brent later testified that Danny bragged to him about this stuff. So he apparently watched Patricia and Corey go into the Tops department store. He parked his blue Corvair van. I'm sure it looked like a very rapey van.
Mm-hmm.
Parked it next to Patricia's car, waited for them to come back out. After she put her son in the passenger seat, gotta love the 70s.
Yep. Yikes.
She was walking around to the driver's side of the car. Danny walked up to her and brandished a knife.
Mm-hmm.
She panicked. She fell backwards into her car. Danny dragged her into his van, and there he tied her up and sexually abused her. He tried to strangle her, but she fought back. She scratched his face. They both fell out of the van. Danny stabbed her in the back, but to quote Danny, he said, quote, "That didn't have much effect. So he twisted the knife and, quote, that did it."
Oh.
So the most heartbreaking part of this is that little Corey had managed to get out of the car and was standing near the van crying. So he saw all of this.
Oh, my God.
Danny said that he figured the boy wouldn't remember anything because he was too young.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case.
No. Yeah.
This can't hurt you because you won't remember it.
No. That's
watching your mother get stabbed to death in front of you.
Yeah, when you're
then just
not
left.
Even 2.
Okay, so that was the start. That's the first of Danny's known victims.
Ugh.
Brent and Danny began to talk about killing and robbing women, and eventually a kit was put together that had knives, trash bags, and ropes.
So Brent obviously testified later because you got some of that information. That was going to be a question, but you just answered it. So Brent didn't go to the police. He looks up to this guy and is like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So July 5th, 1972, he's paroled in, let's say, January. This is July, early July.
Rapid fire going for it.
Yep. Danny was working at the Sprinkle Road service station, the gas station. Linda Clark and Claudia Bidstrup pulled in to get gas at 1:30 a.m. Brent filled up the tank while Danny popped open the hood, fucked with some spark plugs to make it sound like that there was something wrong with the car. And then he's like, "Oh, you guys shouldn't be driving this. Pull into the repair bay. I'll fix this for you real quick."
Okay.
So this is why I was wondering if Brent worked at the gas station, because they're working in tandem in the gas station to victimize these two women.
No one in the gas station is coming out and being like, "What the fuck? You don't work here. Why are you opening the service bay?"
Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning. They were probably the only ones there.
Okay.
But yeah, so whether or not Brent worked there is kind of irrelevant. But okay, so the two women were forced into the back seat of the car. I think Danny got into the gas station.
Yeah, someone had to have been working, at least one person, because they didn't have pay at the pump in the 70s, and it was probably a 24-hour station.
But if there was just one person working there, they go out to fill up the tank, they get the payment.
Yep.
People leave.
Yeah.
But I think Danny gets into the women's car, drives it fully behind the gas station where no one can see them from the road, and then he tied them both up. Brent later testified that one of them would take care of any other customers, like go back into the gas station to deal with customers, while the other one assaulted the women. They were taking turns.
Oh, my God.
So Brent, 15-year-old Brent, raped Linda in Danny's van and then was instructed by Danny to put Claudia back into the car and kill her so that Brent could, quote, taste the medicine.
Brent is just a kid.
He's 15 and Danny's like, no, you need to kill her. I want you to feel what it feels like.
Oh, God.
So Brent did, he was unable to strangle her on his own, so Danny stepped in to help him kill her. Because as we've discussed, it's not easy to strangle someone to death in most cases.
Holy shit. This is dark as fuck.
Yep. But he did manage to kill Linda on his own. So the two women are both dead. They were put into the backseat of their car, and they were covered with a blanket. Brent drove that car to a wooded area near Galesburg, poured some gasoline on it, lit a cigarette, and then threw the cigarette into the floor of the car. But he was so freaked out, he didn't stick around to see if it burned the car.
And it doesn't.
Well, it did not.
Yeah, that's like kind of a movie Hollywood thing, but it's actually harder to light something with a lit cigarette than the media would
with an
make
accelerant.
You think. Yeah.
It's not going to go up like Waiting to Exhale style. It's just not. Although that is the best scene in any film of all time.
It's incredible.
So after he hitchhiked back to the gas station, there's so much hitchhiking. Danny showed him a couple of rings, earrings, and some photos that he took from the victims. So he's just showing off the loot. Like, wasn't that cool?
Wasn't it worth it? Look at this ring I got.
2 weeks later, a passing motorist spotted the car, which again had not been burned, and called the police. But the bodies were too decomposed to determine if they had been raped or how they had been killed.
So the bodies had just been decomposing in the car behind the gas station for 2 weeks?
No, because Brent drove the car out to the wooded area and had to hitchhike back.
Sorry, I forgot.
So they're just in a field somewhere baking in the July Michigan sun for 2 weeks. And it's the 70s horrifying. And their forensics are just not as good as they have become.
Yeah, so the only reason we know what we know is because of testimony from Brent, and I'm assuming eventually what's-his-face.
Yes. Yeah. However, the police did think that this was related to Patricia Hawk's murder because the victims were bound similarly. And
they knew there was evidence still remaining that she had been assaulted as well, so they could kind of follow a pattern.
Yes.
Got it.
On August 5th, Danny and Brent kidnapped an 18-year-old named Pamela. I don't know how to actually pronounce her last name, but it's spelled like Fear Now. Furno. It's probably Furno, but Fear Now. That was spooky. Okay, Pamela Furno. She was hitchhiking near the Western Michigan College campus. So they did the same old play. They threatened her with a knife. They tied her up and put her in the back of the van and covered her with a sleeping bag. Brent then lay next to her while Danny drove the van to a secluded wooded area. Over a period of 6 hours, they took turns assaulting Pamela, then drove her to a different wooded area, because it's Michigan. There are lots of wooded areas. Brent claimed that at this point, the two men were drinking beer and said that Pamela had a glass of wine.
Oh, yeah, just relaxing. Fuck this.
They then went to a third wooded area, and Pamela began to, panic, scream, and struggle against her bindings. Danny punched her in the stomach and put a plastic bag over her head and suffocated her.
Oh, God. Poor thing.
Once she was dead, they placed the body a little bit a ways away from the van, in the woods. And then a cop car drove by. I think Brent took Pamela out to the woods, and then Danny was like, oh, shit, a cop car just drove by. So Brent freaked out and, ran away. Danny gets in his van and is driving back to the house where he lives with Brent. The police did stop him and checked his ID, but
they stopped Danny.
They stopped Danny because Brent was on foot, I guess, in the woods. They let Danny go because they didn't have any reason to not let him go, but they thought he was suspicious, so they kind of followed him on his way back to the trailer. Mm-hmm. The following day, Brent and Danny went back to move Pamela's body to a more secluded area because they didn't want the cops poking around where they had seen Danny maybe acting suspicious. So now it's September 4th, 1972, Labor Day. Danny and Brent are finally arrested for the double homicide of Linda and Claudia that occurred in July. Mm-hmm. The cops had noted, this was really smart actually, that the two women, that the car that their bodies were found in had a completely full tank of gas. So they started looking into the people working at nearby gas stations, and they found Danny, and they learned about his criminal record and learned that Brent frequently hung out there in late at night, and that they lived together. So they brought them both in. Brent takes a plea deal for a lesser sentence in exchange for his testimony against Danny, which is where we're getting all these details from. And he expressed remorse for what he had done. But despite this remorse, it took him until October to show the police where Pamela's body was in the woods in the third secluded area.
I mean, the Brent of it all is tough because this kid was abused, neglected, manipulated, taken in by this monster. And, you know,
who's also a product of abuse. I mean, it's just...
Yes. It's just such a horrifying cycle. And you really see like the worst possible outcomes from, cycles of like family cycles of abuse. And all on display in this fucking case.
Yeah.
And it's like, can Brent be rehabilitated? I don't know. That was a lot for him to do.
We'll get to it. We'll get to Brent. Old stretch. So where Pamela's body was less than a mile from where Linda and Claudia had been found. So this is all in a kind of small area around Old Kalamazoo.
Yep.
Pamela's remains were described as being in skeletal condition, but her jawbone was what they used to make a positive identification.
Okay.
So it wasn't just the plea deal that got Brent to turn on Danny. Brent said that Danny wanted to steal a car and go to Florida, but there's something about that idea made Brent afraid that Danny was going to kill him too.
Oh, okay. He didn't want to leave the state with him just in case.
Yes. So Danny was charged with 4 murders. Brent, still 15 fucking years old at this time, was moved out of the juvenile court system due to the nature of his crimes and was tried as an adult. So Danny was found guilty of first-degree murder for killing Pamela and second-degree for the murder of Patricia and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He pleaded no contest to the murder of Linda and Claudia and was given 2 additional life sentences. Brent, as part of his plea deal, was charged with second-degree murder for Linda and was given a life sentence with the possibility of parole.
Okay.
While in prison, Larry, the first brother, actually maintained contact with Danny's ex-wife, the one who left him when he went to prison, and those two got married in 1976.
While Larry was in prison?
Oh, yeah. They both died in prison. But Larry married his brother's ex-wife while they were both sitting in prison.
Fucking yikes. Okay.
Yeah. So Larry's the one that changed his name to Monk Steppenwolf.
Yeah. Sorry, you mean Monk?
Monk.
Goats, monks, up coffee. The jam. Monk it up.
Don't monk this guy up.
Do not.
So he said that he changed his name because the severity of his brother's crimes had made the family name the personification of evil. It was his brother's crimes that really put a black mark against his family.
Yeah, the family name was all Danny, not Monk. Never not Monk.
Monk?
Monk?
Oh, Monk?
Not in my back, Monk. I don't know.
Top of the monkin' to you.
Top of the monkin' to you.
He also stated that he had not talked to his brother brother Danny since the 60s. Larry claimed that during his years in prison, he had had 4 affairs with different women. Okay. He was also charged with disciplinary action for being part of a conspiracy to kill another inmate with a crossbow that Larry himself had designed.
Okay.
He died in
Monk
prison
himself.
on November 12th, 2023. Goodbye.
Wow, he lived a long time in there.
Danny died on January 19th, 2022. Close in birth, close in death, not
Weird.
close in between.
Oh, I hate them.
Brent did a whole lot of rehabilitation programs and earned a law degree while he was in prison.
Yeah.
Even though he was an exemplary inmate, according to the COs, his parole was denied repeatedly until September of 2020. And after over 40 years in prison, he was released in January of 2021. I can't say that if I was close to any of these victims that I would ever want that motherfucker to see the light of day.
I know. I can't either if I were in that personal position and he was a kid. And
there are a lot of complicating factors.
It's tough. It's not. Yeah. It's not that easy. He lost so much too. He was harmed too. Not that it's not a hierarchy. Obviously, murder and rape are fucking atrocious.
I know. It just the nature of how all of these crimes panned out. The violence and the indiscriminates. I don't even know if that's a word. And they just didn't care. They couldn't care.
Yeah.
It's just so inhuman. And this kid getting caught up in it.
It is sad because it's like he was vulnerable, and I think fucking Danny knew that.
Absolutely, Danny knew that.
And could make him his little accomplice and his little lackey. And Danny got wrapped up in some shit that he should not have gotten wrapped up in.
Yep.
But he still has to, face some consequences for what he did. So, I mean, I personally feel like it is fair that he was released. He spent 40 years in prison, and especially because he really fucking turned his life around. It sounds like he did a lot of the work to, have a different outcome than what he was set up with.
Right. And I also think that there shouldn't be an age limit for trying people as adults if you're not gonna fucking do that half the time.
I know. It's so frustrating. It's so fucking frustrating.
What's 15?
Yeah,
I didn't even have my period when I was 15, I don't think.
Seriously, he was 15 and a product of his own abuse and childhood trauma. So he didn't have the mental capacity for good decision making. At fucking all. This is a desperate, hurt kid.
Yeah.
That got fucking used.
The wake.
Oh,
that
it's
all
horrifying.
of this, it affected so many people. They killed so many people. Women. Yeah. Well, men and women.
Well.
Anyway, so yeah, you won't forget about those two anytime soon.
Sure.
We didn't even get to the monkey.
That's fine. You'll just have to get on Uncorked and listen to my spanky drunk dive number 68.
And
we cover the monkey.
Understand that chimpanzees aren't monkeys; they're apes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a real quick palate cleanser before we get on to another horrifying case.
Yeah. Let's do that. Your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. It sure does for me. And I have an attic bedroom, so the temperature is not always perfection in there. And if you're like me and you wake up too hot or too cold, I cannot recommend highly enough that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep in the perfect temp all night long.
This is science at its best, honestly. These sheets are infused, like Amanda said, with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth.
Hello.
Gross. Leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. It's not going to smell like a boy's dorm room when you walk into your bedroom. Also, that same silver-infused fabric that, again, was inspired by NASA. I love that. Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, whether you're warm or chilly. So you get better sleep every single night. And back to the bacterial growth, because why stop there? You gotta stop. It's gonna clog your pores, causing breakouts, acne. If you just feel kind of gross, it's probably the bacteria that you're sleeping with. So sleep clean with Miracle. Miracle sheets are also luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. Every single time I wash them, they get nicer, and I'm so excited for that laundry cycle when they come out fresh out of the dryer. It's my favorite.
They're so nice. So upgrade your sleep this year. Go to trymiracle.com/gals to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo GALS at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/gals and use the code GALS to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/gals to treat yourself. And thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. They say AI is going to take over the world, okay? We've got chatbots for this, virtual assistants for that, and eventually humans will just be obsolete. And that terrifies me. I'm not saying I look forward to it. But you know what? There is a robot that I welcome with open arms, baby, and she already exists. It's making my life and my cat's life so much better, and that's my litter robot by Whisker. I love her.
I could cry thinking about my litter robot.
Seriously.
It has changed my life. Litter Robot by Whisker is the solution to all of your litter box problems, whether you don't get down there to scoop as much as you probably should, don't change it out enough, you know. We all
odors, all the things.
If you have a litter box in your life, you know
the struggle. Yeah.
Litter Robot self-cleaning technology automatically cleans itself after every single use. So your cats always have a fresh bed of litter to do their business, and your friends aren't going to think you live in a house that smells like a litter box.
Yep.
Because that is a very distinct, unique smell. Litter Robot sends a notification to your phone when it needs to be emptied. It even gives you data and insights to stay on top of your cat's health. Tells you how much they weigh.
It's so cute.
And Litter Robot is perfect for the gift-giving season and the holidays. A birthday, the 4th of July, whoever you gifted to, their life will be changed for the better. Making it the perfect time to join over 1 million happy pets and pet parents who have upgraded to Litter Robot.
I am telling you, the speed with which the cats acclimated to the litter robot, like we kept the old litter box so that if they were scared of it or something, that they could just use the old litter box. No, they went in there immediately. They've never looked back. They like laugh at the other litter box. I can hear them laughing in the basement.
I like the little nightlight that's inside of it.
Oh, it's so cute. So please get on their level. As a special offer to listeners of the show, go to stopscooping.com/gals and use promo code GALS to save an additional $50 on any Litter Robot bundle. That's $50 off any Litter Robot bundle at stopscooping.com/gals and use promo code GALS. Stopscooping.com/gals, promo code GALS.
You finally stole a few minutes for yourself. You're alone in your house, so why not recharge? Instead of doom scrolling or rewatching your comfort show for the 10th time, High Southern Charm, escape into a world of irresistible passion and slow-burning romance. Galatea turns your alone time into a can't-stop-reading experience you're not going to want to put down.
Galatea is a reading app where anyone craving a little me time can dive into a library of romance stories that leave you feeling recharged and fulfilled. There are over 1,000 bestsellers to choose from shifter romance to bad boy billionaires, forbidden loves, werewolf alphas, slow burn fantasy, teen drama, and much, much more. Galatea is home to original series and standalone stories with an exclusive catalog of best-selling authors with new chapters dropping daily, so there's always something new to explore. Baby, you're not going to run out of content. Over 30 million people have fallen in love with reading on Galatea. Join now to indulge in stories that make you feel like yourself again.
Right now, Galatea is offering our listeners an extra 25% off on top of an already irresistibly affordable subscription when you go to galatea.com/gals. That's GALATEA.com/gals to indulge in unlimited stories for even less. Galatea.com/gals.
Are you ready for my case?
No.
You're not. I have the fan picker case this week, and it's dark. They have chosen one of the most shocking and senseless acts of violence in recent Michigan history.
Jess.
And that is the Kalamazoo shooting spree committed by Jason Brian Dalton on February 20th of 2016.
Ooh.
What started as an ordinary day ended in utter fucking terror, with 6 people dead, 2 others seriously wounded, and an entire community just absolutely fucking horrified. Like,
God.
totally random killing spree. No rhyme or reason. Really makes no sense. And we'll get to it.
So sinister.
So sinister.
No,
so senseless. Completely random. So Jason was born on June 22nd, 1970, a Cancer, which would have made him 45 at the time of the shooting. And I mention his age because this was a man who was regarded as like super chill. He's married. He's got 2 kids, no criminal record, no history of mental health issues, just kind of like your average kind of like dumpy white dude.
You don't hear many homicidal cancers.
No, you don't. He had been a mechanic, like he held a steady job. He also was, had recently started driving Uber. Like and the reason I bring up his age is because we know that certain mental health conditions can come up later in life. And that's often in our mid-20s when your brains are kind of like wrapping up that long trip to development.
Yeah, but it's not your mid-40s.
This age just seems so weird to me to just suddenly completely snap.
Ugh.
So Jason lived a relatively unremarkable life before the shooting. We don't know a ton about him. He was just like a quiet, normal, working class dude. He, like I said, he was married. He had 2 children. He was known as quiet and reserved. He worked as a mechanic and later started driving for Uber. Those who knew him described him as a, quote, normal guy with no known violent tendencies. Earlier in the afternoon on February 20th, 2016, Jason and a friend had run errands together, which included the purchase of firearms from 3 different stores. Now,
3?
This is obviously a red flag, but it didn't seem to raise concerns with the friend that he was with, who only remarked that he was quieter than usual that day. And I think that's probably because Jason had been a gun owner like prior to this incident. I mean, it's white guys in the Midwest. A lot of them have guns.
Mm-hmm.
And at least one of the store owners of one of the stores that he had gone to that day said that he recognized Jason as a shopper at the store before, but that he had never sold a firearm to Jason. But that he'd been in there, he'd probably gotten ammunition and like hunting gear, like things like that before.
Browsed.
Yeah. That day, he also purchased a black jacket with specialized pockets meant to conceal a firearm. And he and his friend parted ways, with Jason leaving the store and logging into the Uber app to start accepting rides. Shortly after 4 p.m. on February 20th, 2016, a man named Matt Mellon requested an Uber to take him to a friend's house. He was picked up at 4:21 p.m. by Jason in his silver Chevy Equinox. According to Matt, Jason took a call on his cell during the drive, and I'm not sure who that call was with. But after that call, Matt noted that Jason started, quote, driving crazy. At one point, he entered an oncoming lane of traffic. He drove through a median strip. He ignored stop signs. He sideswept a Ford Taurus. And poor Matt is panicking in the back seat, like begging him to stop the car and let him out. And Jason refused.
That would be so scary in a rideshare.
Fucking terrifying in any circumstances, but yes. So Matt took his chances at the next stop sign, and when Jason slowed down, he jumped out of the car.
Good.
He called 911. He gave police all the info they needed, plate number, make and model of the car, name of the driver, like everything that's in the Uber app. I think he also reported it to Uber. Dispatch assured him they had told police to be on the lookout and gave this same placating response to several other callers who had reported Jason's erratic driving.
Ugh.
So I'm sure it'll just shock you to your very core that police were not taking these reports very seriously or treating this with urgency.
From multiple people.
Multiple people. And girl, when I fucking tell you the cops, they shit the bed on this so fucking hard, and I will die mad about it, because like Matt gave this information, he had the driver's name, he had the license plate number,
everything.
Like they could have gone to his house, like he gave them everything, and they were like, oh, an erratic driver, okay, we'll just let our troopers know, whatever, that to be on the lookout. Like they did not take this seriously.
Aren't they always
at
on
all.
the lookout for bad drivers?
Right? Well, that's the thing about the cops, they're never there when you need them.
Not too terribly proactive there.
No. So after Matt jumped out of Jason's car, Jason drove home, where it appears he stayed for a little over an hour, even calling his wife and asking if they could swap cars and he could come get her keys to like her car, which was a Chevy HHR. Something else listed it as a Hummer. I don't know if that's the same thing. I looked up who makes Hummer. It says General Motors. Does General Motors own Chevy? That was not worth my time. I don't fucking care. I can't care about the cars.
I can't care.
Okay? Nope. Calls her to swap cars. And
but it is a Hummer, or we don't know?
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Chevy HHR. You can Google that. What's a Chevy HHR? Is it a Hummer?
I kind of only want to know if it's a Hummer. Oh, it's a PT Cruiser. It's a PT Cruiser.
Oh, yikes. Okay. Because that's something else mentioned a Hummer. So I don't know. Maybe there was another family vehicle that he also picked up. I'm not sure.
It's like it's a truck style of PT Cruiser. And also, did you know that the person who designed the PT Cruisers, like, also designed, what was this? Somehow the PT Cruiser design is based on, like, Nazi cars.
Oh, I'm not
like World War II era, because they're like kind of rounded, like snub nose.
That car sucks.
Yeah.
Fucking yuck. That was cringe when it came out. And I'm sorry, I don't care if I'm talking to PT Cruiser drivers. Baby, it's cringe. Let it go. PT Cruiser and the new Volkswagen Bug. You heard it. I said it.
Like those.
I said it. I think they're both cringe. I'm sorry. You know what? I can't care. I'm not going to not be your friend because I don't give a fuck. Truly, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what car you drive. Those cars are cringe and you should just know it. I'm doing you a favor because I'm your friend. I'm telling you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
Cars are cringe. You're fucking welcome. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. There's so much. So his wife, not knowing he had damaged his car, driving erratically and seeming like not to notice anything strange about the phone call, agrees to swap the keys and swap cars, and said that she would meet him at his parents' house because it was like halfway between both of their locations. So Jason hopped in his now damaged car and went in the direction of his parents' house, but accepted a ride request along the way at 5:15 p.m. to pick up a woman at a nearby apartment complex.
Well, he was on his way. He was on the way.
I don't know what the fuck he was doing. When he arrived, a woman named Tiana Carruthers was just arriving home with her daughter and a couple other children that she had taken to the park down the street. Jason asked if she was the woman who had requested an Uber, and she replied that she was not. Jason then turned his car around and she thought, okay, he's leaving, but instead he just turned his car around and then opened fire toward Tiana and the children.
Oh my God.
Tiana bravely put herself between the shooter and the kids and told them to run. And she took several of the 10 shots that were fired in her direction. Oh. She was found by a neighbor and taken to the closest hospital by ambulance. None of the children were struck, thank God.
Jesus Christ.
And Tiana miraculously survived her injuries, though her recovery was pretty brutal and required multiple surgeries and rehabilitation in the years following. But this woman is a fucking hero. She literally took a bullet for a bunch of kids, and in that flash moment told them to run, and they got to safety. And I mean, thank God she lived. It's like a fucking miracle.
I have chills.
Yeah, and she comes back to continue to be a hero later in the story. So the original ride requester texted Jason, apparently, moments after she had initially requested an Uber to say, oops, like, I asked you to pick me up at the wrong place. I'm actually here. So she's giving a correction of address, which would have led...
God. So that whole shooting, the first one was a total fluke anyway.
Total fluke. He wasn't even in the place that he was intended to go, but he had already started driving, or like he was probably driving when he accepted the ride. And so he didn't see her message that was like, hey, can you go here? And that's how he ended up shooting Tiana.
Oh my God.
And so he hadn't responded to that text. She later, the original requester, tried to call him to follow up on the address correction and be like, hey, are you still coming? But he didn't answer the phone. And then a witness later reported seeing an Equinox driving, quote, so aggressively toward the apartment at the new location, at one point cutting this witness off at a southbound curve and risking a head-on collision. This was also reported to police, who still had not made contact with Jason or located his vehicle.
Hours later.
Yeah, it's now 6 p.m. So 6:05 p.m., approximately 20 minutes after the first shooting occurred, Jason called the original ride requester and said, sorry, I didn't respond to your text and I can't pick you up because, quote, something had come up. Him trying to murder a woman and children in cold blood. Something had come up. I can't pick you up.
Children.
Yep.
Jesus.
Some more time passes and still no police intervention despite having all of Jason's information. In this time, and now there's been a shooting, which, of course, we're not expecting the police to immediately connect the shooter with an erratic driver, but they had the description of the vehicle from the original call from Matt. And then they had other witness descriptions
to his house,
of the vehicle after shooting Tiana.
Unfucking believable.
And I also think it's important to note here that Tiana is a Black woman. And so it makes you wonder if they weren't doing their due diligence to see if to cross-check the descriptions with other calls from that day, because it's like, oh, a Black person got shot on this block. Happens all the time. You know, why would that shooting light a fire under their butt to look at all the information that's come in that day and fucking investigate it? Like, nobody flagged this.
It's not a huge metropolis either.
No! Kalamazoo is not Manhattan.
You probably don't have better things to do.
Y'all, you could do your job. I know this sounds crazy, but you could do your fucking job.
Oh my God.
So in this time when he's still not apprehended, he met up with his wife. He told her a story of a disgruntled cab driver because he still needs to swap the cars. And he shows up and he's like, oh my God, this cab driver was pissed at me because like he's saying Uber is stealing business from him, this local cab driver. And so the driver sideswiped me and that caused all this damage to my car. And then he opened fire on me. And
so he's lucid enough to come up with a backstory.
To lie to his wife. Yup. He said that he had reported the incident to Uber and that they were taking care of it. And then he's like, take this 9mm handgun and go home. It's not safe for you to be unarmed. I wonder if this guy is still out there and he's going to come after us. So he's like, don't go to work tomorrow. Don't take the kids to school. Just stay in the house with this gun.
What the fuck?
And then he takes his wife's car and fucks off and allegedly tells her that he couldn't explain what was going on, but that she would see it in the news.
Oh my God.
Now, I don't know what she did after this. However, I read several articles about this case, and I did not see it reported that she had called this incident into police. Not that it would have fucking mattered, because
Apparently
a bunch of people had called all fucking day giving the same information about the same guy. I don't know. So now he's got this other car, which might be a PT Cruiser or might be a Hummer. He goes to an ATM. I can't care about that. He goes to an ATM to withdraw cash around 7 p.m. The shooting took place he picked up Matt. The first call came in around 4. The shooting took place like 5:45, 6. He's at the ATM at 7.
Oh my God.
Drives around for about half hour, 45 minutes, goes home, swaps out guns, goes back on the road just before 8 p.m. and takes more Uber requests.
What the fuck?
But without incident.
And still his wife is like, oh, no big deal. You're just dropping home to get some more guns.
This is why I'm like, there's no way she called the police, because he came back
to
home,
a white lady,
swapped guns. Yeah, and they would have. The police would have fucking somebody would have come and taken a statement from her, you know? But he came back like, I don't think she did. I don't think she called the cops. And like, I get it. That's like your man or whatever, but
that kind of makes me think that he didn't just snap overnight.
If Bill is handing me a gun and saying, go lock yourself in the house and don't go to work tomorrow. First of all, I'm like,
don't send the kids to school.
Yeah. First of all, I'm like,
you'll see it on the news.
Easy. I don't want to go to work, but I would be calling the police. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I would turn that man in because I would be concerned he was a danger to himself and others. I'd be scared he was doing something.
Which he was just short of saying as much.
Yeah. I mean, girl, I don't fucking know. I can't with this.
Wild.
So he's still out wandering around. He's taking Ubers.
Ubers.
None of the passengers he picked up noticed anything unusual or alarming about him. He's driving a different car. So they're looking for the other car. He's not driving erratically. Like, he's chilling.
This is so fucking weird.
10 p.m. He rolls up to a Kia dealership and it's like just at closing time. Some customers are finishing up their vehicle purchases and just about to leave, and 2 of these customers are 53-year-old Richard Smith and his 17-year-old son, Tyler.
They're purchasing a car?
I think they were getting a car looking at cars for Tyler. I don't think they had bought a car that day. They were in Richard's vehicle.
It does take forever to actually buy a car.
It legitimately does. But I think they were there like test driving cars, and Tyler's girlfriend, Alexis Cornish, was also there. She was in the back seat. Richard was driving, or in the driver's seat. They hadn't left the parking lot yet. And Tyler was in the passenger seat. Jason approaches the car and asks what they're doing there. And
on
Richard
foot?
Goes to he approaches, he pulls into the lot. He parks. I think maybe going toward the entrance of the dealership, sees this car parked with people in it, is like, hey, what are you guys doing here? Richard, goes to toward the window to answer him. But before he can answer, he just opens fire on the car. He fired 18 rounds that struck Richard and Tyler. Richard, I believe, was struck 9 times and Tyler was struck 7 times.
Oh my God.
Both killed. They did not survive the shooting. Alexis did survive. She was crouched down in the back seat. I didn't see anything that said she was even shot, which is, again, a fucking miracle. He's just raining bullets down on this car.
Basically point blank range.
He may not have even seen that Alexis was in the back seat. If he's just like, you come up, you approach the car, you see these 2 guys.
PM, it's dark.
It's dark. So I think he was just aiming for the front 2 passengers.
The faces that he saw.
Witnesses from a nearby Burger King parking lot recorded on their phones Jason getting back at his car and fleeing the scene. And they reported this incident to the police. So now they know that he's in a different car.
So this is like the fucking 9th time the cops have been called about this fucking dude.
Minimum.
Hours.
There have been calls coming in about this guy all day. All afternoons. At least it's 4 p.m. 6 hours at this point.
6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And a woman's been fully shot.
A woman's been shot and survived. 2 men have been killed in front of this 17, 16-year-old girl. And 10 minutes later, Jason arrives at a Cracker Barrel restaurant less than about 5 miles away from the Kia dealership and does the same thing, pulls into the parking lot, gets out, walks toward the entrance and stops at 2 vehicles. Each vehicle had a couple of people in it. One had 3 or 4 people in it and the other had 2 people in it.
Who are these people out at 10 p.m.?
They're finishing up a late night dinner at the Cracker Barrel, baby.
Test driving a car.
Let's go.
It's just, I'm just shocked that the world turns at 10 p.m.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? He opened fire on the 2 vehicles and he killed 4 people and injured 1. The victims in the Cracker Barrel round of the shooting were 62-year-old daycare worker Mary Lou Nye, her 60-year-old sister-in-law Mary Jo Nye, who was a retired teacher, 74-year-old social worker Dorothy Judy, she went by Judy Brown, and 68-year-old grandmother Barbara Hawthorne, who was there with her 14-year-old granddaughter Abigail Knopf.
Abigail, these old ladies alone.
All these old ladies and then one of their grandkids. And Abigail
killed the grandkid?
Didn't kill her, but shot her. She was critically wounded from a gunshot to the head. And miraculously survived the attack after multiple surgeries to repair her shattered skull and rehabilitation to regain brain function that she had lost as a result of the shooting.
Oh my God.
So he's now killed 6 people, critically injured 2 more people.
Is he using like a I don't even know the words, like a big scary gun?
He, for these shootings, he used, I think, 2 different versions of a 9mm. So one was a Glock, and I read a report that part of the reason why he had gone home to swap guns is that after the first shooting outside of the apartment, he had noticed it jam. And so he wanted to get a gun that wouldn't jam.
Oh.
So he swapped it out for a semi-automatic 9mm, which I think is still a semi-automatic handgun.
Yeah.
But he did have other guns, but they weren't the guns he was using.
He was so lucid.
It's bizarre.
This kind of reminds me of There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to assume that this man is dead, so we will never know what happened.
He's not.
Oh.
So we'll kind of get to it.
Keep going.
3 shootings and countless 911 calls later, the cops are finally like, oh, we might have a mobile shooter on our hands. We should probably do something.
Oh.
He had been in this area opening fire for 6 fucking hours at this point. He really never drove more than 10 to 15 miles out of this. That was like the radius.
They could fucking...
So by 10 p.m., the town is essentially put on lockdown. People are fucking panicking. False reports of other shootings, campus shootings, all these things are flooding in. Folks just don't know what the fuck is going on. It's chaos.
The false reports.
Meanwhile, Jason is still accepting Uber rides.
What the fuck? Can you imagine if you were one of his passengers and you were interviewed later and you were like, I didn't notice anything?
Can you imagine being an investigator and not contacting Uber and being like, hey, can we get the exact location of this man that's on a shooting rampage while he's picking up rides for your app that you can track?
Shit. It's tracking him. Oh my God.
I know.
I didn't even think about that part.
I wrote these notes in the bathtub and I was screaming.
Oh my God.
In the bathtub. Thank God Bill's out of the house for work today because I have been a lunatic since 9:30 this morning.
Hopefully your neighbors don't call.
Oh, no. They're used to me. But I have never. This has been a fucking day.
Jesus Christ.
And I was laughing because I was taking like a little mental health break and I was listening to The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie and Katya. And Trixie was talking about how she woke up hungover recently and was like so distraught. She just started screaming. And I was like, girl, same. I'm not even hungover.
I'm just screaming.
It was, God, I love that podcast. Anyway, so finally, at about 12:30 a.m., police spot him dropping off 3 passengers because he's still out fucking driving Uber.
Unfucking believable.
So they like hung back, let him drop off the passengers, and then followed him and pulled him over when he was alone in the car. He was armed and wearing the black jacket that he had purchased earlier in the day, as well as a bulletproof vest.
Oh, cool.
When she was like, oh, I bought this for my son. And they were like, okay, but you're wearing it. So can you step out of the vehicle, please?
Cool. Does it fit?
Right? What the fuck? Anyway.
Maybe he was not so lucid.
I mean, that is up for debate. So we're kind of getting to that part. I'm almost done. I know this is a crazy long episode, but there was just so much.
That's okay. We both had really crazy cases.
Really wild fucking cases. One semi-automatic handgun was taken from him. I don't know if it was just in his car, if it was in that little fucking pocket of his dumbass fucking gun coat. And the search of his home found 15 additional guns, including 11 quote unquote long guns. So I wonder if this is a variation of like,
it's like a
maybe
rifle.
Automatic rifles, hunting rifles. Like it could have, that's a pretty vague term. But that's what I saw. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And 4 handguns, including the 9mm Glock that he had left swapped earlier in the day. On February 22nd, 2016, so this is like barely a week later, Jason was arraigned on 16 charges, including 6 counts of murder, 2 counts of assault with intent to commit murder, and 8 counts of using a firearm during the commission of a felony. He was ordered to undergo a psychiatric evaluation to determine his competence to stand trial. This initial evaluation determined he was mentally competent, and he appeared on May 20th of 2016 for a preliminary hearing to determine if there was enough evidence to try him on all of these charges. This is like totally standard. During this hearing, Jason made a verbal outburst and interrupted our hero, Tiana Carruthers.
Oh, no.
Who had gotten herself to the hearing despite her injuries to make sure to testify against him so that there would be enough evidence to make sure he got these charges.
He tried killing children.
Yeah. And this woman is like, it's probably between surgeries at this point. It's barely a month, or it's a few months later. So she's at least had a couple of surgeries. Her recovery took years.
I bet.
And she made sure she fucking got there to testify. And so again, she's a fucking hero. During her testimony, he made what was described as, quote, somewhat indecipherable statements, but he's taunting her while she's testifying, causing her to cry. She like can't focus on the stand. It's probably fucking terrifying. You're facing the man who tried to kill you and your child and your child's little friends.
A crowd of kids.
Little fucking children that you're coming home from the park. Like, what the fuck?
Absolutely no indication that you're in any kind of danger. You're at home, essentially.
She's outside of her apartment. I cannot. And then to just be taunted by this fucking man. So they called for a recess. They reconvened the next day. He was removed from the courtroom and she came back to give her testimony and he was safely kept away from her.
No, but she had to come back.
I know. The fact that, I mean, God bless her. The fact that she came back is amazing. But I think it was like, he's going to video in from jail and we can literally fucking mute him so that he can't say shit to you during your testimony. So like, at least they made accommodations so that she did not have to be in the room with that man ever the fuck again. Because she shouldn't have to be. So in preparation for trial, he gets the charges. They're like, yes, this is what we're charging him with. Now, prosecution, defense, go off and prep. We're going to work on setting a trial date. So his defense team, in preparation for trial, announces that they're pursuing an insanity plea. They used the months leading up to his scheduled trial date to conduct a thorough psychiatric evaluation by Michigan Center for Forensic Psychiatry. The evaluations, as well as other factors, ultimately delayed Jason's trial start date by a couple years.
Whoa.
Which does happen.
Yeah.
Under, the best of circumstances. But I think that the defense was probably trying to take as much advantage of the delays as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then the trial was finally set to start January of 2019. So they scheduled jury selection to begin on January 3rd, but by January 7th, Jason had entered a guilty plea for all counts that he was charged with. So I have a feeling that the extensive evaluations and delays did not drum up a more solid case for the defense as they had hoped.
Mm-hmm.
And he and his team kind of realized, you got to face the music. There's no way we're going to win this. Mm-hmm. So accept a plea. We're done. We're at the end of the road. So he was sentenced to life in prison that he didn't have to face a jury trial, which makes me happy because I don't want Tiana or Abigail, these survivors to have to fucking come back in and face this man.
Mm-hmm.
So he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and he is alive, as far as I know, and continues to serve his sentence in the Oaks Correctional Facility. So why did he fucking do this? Girl, I have no fucking clue what to think. And what I'm about to tell you is nuts. It just is. But I will say, I'm almost inclined to believe it because this is so random and makes no fucking sense that, I kind of wonder if he really was, if he had just snapped and something was fucked in his brain and what he says happened here is what his perception of reality was at the time.
Okay.
So, it wasn't until after he accepted the plea and was sentenced, whatever, that the police interview footage of Jason could be released. Because obviously, if it had gone to trial, that would all be admissible in court. And so they're not going to put that out to the public. But now he's taken the deal. He's in jail. Mm-hmm. They released the tapes.
Oh, my God.
From his initial arrest. In the footage, he says that he had been working for Uber for just over a week, which is true. He'd been there for doing it for less than 2 weeks. And as soon as he started using the app, he'd noticed something strange about the app.
What the fuck?
So now most of the rest of my case comes from an ABC News article detailing the interrogation tapes because it was tons of quotes and I wanted to read them all. So I pulled all of his quotes from there, and that ABC News article is cited in my sources. Quote, "The minute that I logged on, to be honest with you, I don't know what happened," he's heard telling investigators in the tapes. "I know you guys are going to have a hard time believing this, but it literally took over my mind and body."
The app?
Yes. Dalton claimed that he'd seen the symbol of the Eastern Star when he initially logged into the Uber app. Kalamazoo detective Gurangeli said. So that's some Freemason shit. According to Wikipedia, they say, quote, "The Order of the Eastern Star, OES, is a Masonic pendant body open to both men and women. It was established in 1850 by some fucking lawyer Freemason, and this was adopted and approved as an appendant body of the Masonic fraternity in 1873. The order is based on some teachings from the Bible and is open to people of all religious beliefs. It has approximately 10,000 chapters in 18 countries and approximately 500,000 members under its General Grand Chapter." And the symbol that he's referring to, I have a picture of it on the drive. It is like a pentagram. It's an upside down star in a circle. And then each star section has a drawing that's associated with one of the tenets of this Freemason.
Oh,
who's
yeah.
What's it, whatever.
Freemasons themselves are, they're not.
No, they're just a bunch of old nerds.
It's not really a cult.
You're just a bunch of old nerds.
It's a boys club.
Yeah, with fucking fuck all to do. So you're wearing fun little hats and you're getting together and you're making symbols and.
But it would make sense. You got your secret handshakes.
Yeah, you're in a little frat.
It would make sense that this boring white dude was brainwashed by this.
By the Freemason.
The most boring.
I don't fucking know. But the Order of the Eastern Star is, I guess, what he saw.
Okay.
So then he says, quote, "I just tapped it." I guess he saw the star and he tapped it. And then there was a devil head that popped up. It was some sort of horned head, like a cow head or something. I pressed that button, and that's where all the problems went after that. Dalton told detectives that the Uber app had taken control of him. Quote, you could drive over 100 miles an hour and go through stoplights and you can just get places. When I tapped that, it said I could say whatever I wanted to. There would be no repercussions. So he's saying that, like, I tapped this star, the devil horns popped up, and then I was, like, given permission by the devil to just run rampant and do whatever I wanted.
Kill people?
He said that the app would start off red and then switch to black. And he said, quote, when it's in that black mode, it literally has control of you. It would do a little blink at me.
Ooh.
The phone communicated with him, Dalton told investigators, instructing him on what to do. 1 ding meant yes, and 2 dings signaled no. Maybe that's the little blink that he was referring. I don't know. Dalton also told investigators that when officers pulled him over around midnight, ending the shooting spree, he'd almost reached for his gun, but the phone, which is like in its holder with the app on, had returned to red from black. And so Dalton said that's why he did not shoot at the officers, because he was out of that, like, the devil mode. Zone. Quote, I was no longer being guided. I mean, that's not my nature to be that way, he told detectives. The minute that the app went from black to red, I had my presence, like I was back in my own body. And he did have memory of the spree, but, like, there were bits and pieces that were kind of missing from his memory, and he had no idea how many people he had shot. He did say in the interview that he, quote, remembered shooting a child. I don't know if that was Abigail, the girl who got shot in the head, if it was the group of children outside of the apartment building, if it was Tyler. I don't know. You shot at a lot of kids today.
Yeah.
Sir.
Oh my God. That is so fucked up. I had not heard of this.
What?
Devil
app? So that's why I'm kind of like.
That's why I use Lyft.
Girl, same. Baby, no. That's why I use Lyft. No. Fuck. But yeah, it's like, God. That's why when I read this, I was like, do I kind of believe him? Because, like, I feel like it's just my brain trying to grasp at anything to make any of this make sense. And obviously what he's saying it happened to him does not make sense. But if he truly was, like, having some sort of psychotic break and he really thought the Uber app was switching from red to black and telling him to murder a bunch of people.
That's some bad weed, dude.
That's a bad weed. But also, he was out before he started driving that day. He was shopping with his friend and he bought a bunch of guns. So I'm like, I think that's bullshit. He'd been on the app for a few weeks. He also said that he hadn't been sleeping in the days leading up. So something was going on. There was one report that said that he hadn't slept in, like, over 24 hours, which we know
that's really bad.
Can cause serious psychological damage. Mm-hmm. Really bad. So the truth is we don't really know. Like, the motive doesn't make sense. Like, he snapped. I don't know if he was sleep deprived and also had underlying mental health issues that had gone unnoticed and untreated for years. And then that plus no sleep. I don't know. Maybe things were tough at work and that's why he was starting to drive for Uber. And then he's stressed and he's not sleeping. And, you know, he's fixating on this. I need to make more money. I'm going to join this Uber app. And then the Uber app has the devil in it. And it's just like spiraling the fuck out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So thanks, Jess. Kalamazoo. Fun to say. Apparently not that fun to talk about.
Why are these really hyper-specific regional topics
like always so the darkest?
Fucked up.
Always the darkest. I know. Babe.
Well, thanks, Jess.
We did it.
We did it. You did it.
Y'all did it.
Oh my God. Well, I need to go take an ice bath after this episode.
Heard.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you. And please come join us over on Wine and Crime Uncorked so you can get all of this in your pod feed. Ad free, baby. All this audio content plus bonus content. We'd really love to have you over there. So much bonus
content.
It's so much fun. Uncorked is so much fun.
Yeah.
Go get her, babe.
My new Spooky Little Bitch episode, the one from February.
I haven't listened yet. I can't wait.
Strippers, honey.
I know. And I have a mansplaining coming out like I mean, as we record this next week, but it'll probably already be out by the time this comes out. But yeah, I'm super excited.
So much content.
We've got some good stuff coming. So yeah, head to our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com/uncorked and join the party.
And we will see you next week.
Yes, we will. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Danielle Sylvan. Music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell. Editing by Jonathan Camp. Our production manager is Andrea Gardner. For photos, sources, and other resources, head to wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can follow us on all the socials at Wine and Crime Pod. If you'd like to show your support and get access to all sorts of wine-fueled bonus content, check out our premium channel at wineandcrimepodcast.com/uncorked. Cheers!